Breaking news coming in, unfortunately. Please do stay with us. Thank you for sharing that. We have another breaking news coming in. Trump has said that they're going to destroy Iran's missiles. Trump has also added that they're going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. Erase their missile industry to the ground. He has added that U.S. military undertaking a massive and ongoing operation. Trump has also mentioned that Iran developing long-range missiles threaten U.S. and others. President Trump has said that Iran attempted to rebuild its nuclear program. Trump has said Iran can never have a nuclear weapon, according to him. Now, we welcome my colleague and anchor and correspondent, Roshan Gitwani, for this. Thank you, Roshan, for joining us again. Roshan, what more can you tell us about this developing news?
Yeah, look, Asuma, you just said it. The key word here is raze, R-A-Z-E. That means to completely destroy. Okay, so that's my latest update. Trump has issued an 8-minute statement. Now, Americans may be lost and there may be casualties, but according to Trump, he is here to raise Iran of all nuclear possibilities, and he will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. Now, again, the key word is raise, Asuma. Trump has spoken. Last year, you mentioned that the war in June was 12 days. This initial strike will last 4 days. On top of that, it may be extended. The strikes are aimed at dismantling Iran's security apparatus. So like I just said, these initial strikes will be 4 days and they may be extended. Trump was not happy about how the negotiations went between the two countries. Iran cannot have nuclear weapons, and that is the update from Trump. Of course, you also just mentioned, Asuma, and this is the latest update, that Iran will retaliate with a response like no other. I do have some advisories that have been issued, especially with regards to Indian nationals as well. Indian nationals are strongly advised to strictly adhere to the safety guidelines and instructions issued by the Israeli authorities and the Home Front Command. Also, Pakistan has issued statements to their citizens that are currently in Iran to essentially evacuate as soon as they can. In the newsroom itself, there have been discussions of greater strikes, like I just mentioned. Iran is essentially retaliating with a response like no other. I do believe that these strikes will last more than 4 days. There have been more advisories as well. Indian nationals are advised to avoid all non-essential and unnecessary travel within Israel until further notice. So of course the military escalation has escalated to this essential state that we are in now, and Iran is retaliating with a response like no other. To you, Asuma.
Thank you very much, Roshan, for sharing that latest update on this issue. Now we'll go back to our guest, Major General Dr. S.B. Astana. Thank you very much, Major General Astana, for staying with us. Would you like to complete your points on my earlier question and also keeping in mind the latest breaking news?
As far as your earlier question is concerned, I think I answered that regime change is certainly not simple, and it's not going to be kind as well, because if Khomeini is replaced, either it will be another radical or it will be IRGC, because the Shah's son doesn't have the kind of traction. And also the people of Iran, their anger against Khomeini is lesser than their anger against US and Israel. So that's one part of it. Now coming on to the current situation, there is no doubt that US would try to, US and Israel will try to neutralize their missile facilities and strike their missile facilities, as well as their leadership and other targets, as well as nuclear facilities, no doubt about it. But this is not a surprise for Iran. Iran is going to react, and the retaliation by Iran would also now encompass at least all the places from where the strikes are coming. As of now, I also visualize that the reaction will be in standoff form, because both the countries, Israel and USA, are launching standoff attacks as of now. So the reaction also will also be in a similar form. As far as the proxies are concerned, their reaction on Israel, uh, that could also be there, but I do not visualize that that has got a very major impact, because those proxies they have been fighting and striking Israel for times immemorial. I agree with one of the panelists to say that Iran is in a slightly difficult choice, in a manner that if you fire two less missiles on Iron Dome, that gets neutralized. If you fire far too many, then obviously your capacity to engage the military posturing of US, that reduces. So they will have to strike a balance as to what they do between the two issues. But certainly
Yes.
we can expect Iranian response very soon.
Thank you very much,
Back
Major
to you.
General Astana, for sharing that. I'd like to also welcome Mr. Mati Zweig. He's a geopolitical expert, joins us live from Tel Aviv. Thank you very much, Mr. Zweig, for joining us on this. I hope you're staying safe out there. What have you seen? What have you heard so far? And what's your take on the current capability of Iran?
Well, thank you, Suma.
Thank you.
As we've seen, the negotiations didn't go well, and we have been listening this for the last 2 days, when every time that the reporter asks Trump, they say, oh, I would like to see a good outcome, but so far they are not ready to flexibilize themselves or to do what they think they must do. So we were all expecting in Israel that something is going on, and it's going to be or a partial or a full war, and that's what is starting in this moment. Today, I can talk in 3 different levels. Today, at the human level in Israel, at 8:15 in the morning, everyone has to run to the shelters. I've been to the shelter myself about 15 minutes, and then they say that was the kind of exercise to see if all the readiness is okay in all the country, and we went back to our homes, and now we are looking for further developments, of course, and being close to the shelters, all citizens. This is from the human level. Then there is another things. All the previous people that were talking to you, they say very good what is going on from the military point of view, but there are several angles that must be looked very closely. First, we will see with the pass of time who did the first strike, if it was a common joint attack by US and Israel, or Israel was first and then US follows. I think this is important also. And the question is the quantity of targets that they are going to be touched in these first strikes, if they are going to be effective to really diminish the capacity of the regime in Iran to give a big retaliation or a very little retaliation. We will see in the next hours and the next couple of days. And another angle that is very important is that everybody knows, and also from the past, that anyone that will attack Iran can literally finish all the battles in one day. And this is attacking completely and destroying the island of Harg, which is the major deposit of fuels and refineries and everything, and blocking the possibility of Iran of continuing to produce oil and gas. And this is going to produce an enormous chaos in the region, and everyone was opposed in the war in June, especially Saudi Arabia and the Emirates, and everyone in the area said that it's not a good idea, so nobody touched this island. If in this time the island is going to be severely severe damage, and then I think this war is going to be developing in another ways that we didn't even think about it. And of course, what they say, the previous speakers, about the regime change, is that nothing is going to be accomplished without the cooperation of the people itself. That clearly most of the people in Iran, more than 80 million people, they are fed up with this regime that has been oppressing them for years and years, and killing them, and doing an enormous damage, not only to the people, also to the economy. It's not a regime that they developed the economy and everything was blooming and it was great, and then they were oppressing. They were also oppressing and also destroying the economy. So this combination, it must have some outcome, maybe from minorities like the Baluchis, like the Kurds, like the Lords, like the Azeris. I don't know, from other places, that they can start taking the arms into themselves and trying to do a regime change that nobody knows how it's going to develop at this stage, but this is going to be part of the equation of these attacks and these developments. If everybody, think that these attacks are only to bring in a couple of days, again, the Iranians to new negotiations with other mood. So this is not about this. I think this is going to be a very, very deep change in the way of their behave. And, anyway, all wars, they know how people started, but nobody knows how they are going to develop and how they are going to finish. So we have to be patient. Our people in Israel is resilient for what we have in the 2 last years, and everybody, despite the political divisions and different points of view, is certain that this regime must be completely destroyed in order to have a new, brave future for the world.
With that, I'd like to thank all our guests extensively, to Mr. Sol Sadka and retired Major General Dr. S.B. Astana, as well as Mr. Matti Zweig, for joining us on this timely breaking news and sharing your deep insights with us on NewsX World. Thank you very much. Now we have another breaking news coming in. According to reports, several ministers in southern Tehran have been targeted by the IDF. This comes as when IDF secretary secretly launched missiles on Iran. We have another news coming in from Israel. Israel's health ministry has instructed all hospitals to operate at the highest levels of alert. The ministry has announced that hospitals are to move operations to protected and underground facilities to ensure safety. As part of the precautions, outpatient care and elective procedures that have been cancelled. Clinics will only perform urgent procedures. Patients who do not require hospitalizations will be discharged and sent home or to care facilities. Moreover, the public in Israel is urged to avoid coming to the hospital for non-urgent cases in order to reduce pressure on medical facilities. Now we have a breaking news coming in from India. In light of the current security situation in Israel, the Indian embassy has issued a warning for all Indian nationals in Israel. Citizens are advised to exercise utmost caution and remain vigilant at all times. The embassy has strongly urged Indian nationals to follow the safety guidelines and instructions issued by Israeli authorities and the Home Front Command. All Indian citizens are advised to remain close to designated shelters and to familiarize themselves with the nearest protected spaces in their area. Non-essential travel within Israel should be avoided until further notice. Updated instructions can be found on the Israeli Emergency Management website. Now we have another breaking news. U.S. President Donald Trump has warned the United States is taking direct military action against Iran. He has confirmed that major combat operations have begun, aiming to destroy Iran's missiles and missile industry. President Trump has added that the Iranian Navy will be annihilated and highlighted long-range missiles that threaten the U.S. and allies. He has accused Tehran of attempting to rebuild its nuclear program and stressed that Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon, according to him. Trump has said that the mission is to defend the American people and eliminate imminent threats from Iran. Let's listen in.
Operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again, they can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people including many Americans, and we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with His help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.